is winter here in PI, but today we have a nice day where it's not windy and it's not too cold. So I thought I would take the opportunity to examine where the old portico was and where we are going to rebuild it. So right here, as some of you may have seen in the older pictures, there used to be a portico or a carriage house type thing here. Now we have very few pictures of it, so redesigning it is going to be quite difficult. But the original stone corner pillars are there, which means that we would just have to add some more further out. And as you can see, some of the holes are in the brickwork up there. And now that would have been where they would have ran their rafters for the roof, which then was a balcony for the upstairs, which is also an area that's been bricked in. So we intend to put not only the portico back on here, but also the balcony up above it. Now, this doorway that was filled in, it seems to be falling out on its own. So we'll have to get to that before it gets too far gone. It may even fall out this winter. And if it does, then we'll have to frame in something temporary, but we can't do anything on the inside just yet because the floors aren't quite there. So as you can see, there's lots of stuff to do here. Now, since we have such a nice day, I'm also going to show you some of the other features around the house and some of the other work that we need to do. That'll give you guys an overview of some of the things that we have to do ahead of us, some of the plans we have, and some of the challenges, and you kind of see what kind of state everything is in now, so that there'll be something for you to reference back to when we renovate and start adding all these things back on. So I'm going to now move along around the house, and we're going to go around in a circular motion and finish at the front. So this is the side of the house, and we'll work our way around. I'll show you a few other things, and then you can kind of see and get an idea of some of the things we have to do. Okay. So right here is some wood paneling or sheathing that was added around and when they put a new window in. So we have no idea what is under there yet, but I'm quite keen to take it apart and see. So as we look at this, they have put like some sort of capping part way up, and I'm not sure if that's to cover some bad brickwork or what have you. And then we have the original stone foundation, a window that goes into the basement, and then we have this big PVC window that we will probably take out and change it for something a little more aesthetically fitting for the house. Along here you see the porch, or closed-in porch, or what's left of it anyway. Now, interestingly enough, in one of the videos on Instagram, you'll see that inside this room there's an old couch that's been there, I don't know, probably from at least the 50s. And also, because of the light shining through the window, this little moss thing has grown on one of the cushions. Really neat and interesting to see, and you can find that on the Instagram. So as for this, we are probably going to have to take this down. I don't think there's any saving it. Now, we're wondering what might be underneath there. I see that somebody added a concrete foundation. Now, being a mason, I know that this concrete foundation is typical of around the 50s and 60s, by the shape of it and what it's made of. So we can kind of guess that this was put on around that time. Now we have a typical LED flashing around the roof part of that. We'll probably keep this type of roof, and we'll redo it. But I'm not sure what we're going to redo it out of yet, whether we go with a similar style wood or we go for some sort of cedar shake. But we are totally open to that. So I'm keen to hear any ideas that you guys might have on what we could do with this space. This is very much open to discussion, as it has to be all torn apart anyway. So that's this part of it. Now I will show you, I don't know, you might be able to see some of the upstairs. They replaced some of the windows, but they all still have the original windowsills. So we will probably put, I would say, wooden windows back in here, but modern windows that have, better ceiling, so we don't have to deal with all those drafts, because it does get quite windy here. And obviously, being in Canada, it does also get cold, even though it's only for a few months of the year. And as you'll see in some of these later videos, this is an amazingly beautiful spot in the summer and absolutely gorgeous. So you'll see that in some of their future videos. So that's this shed. Now we're going to move around to what would be the exit of the from the basement. And I guess they would have also have used it to bring in their produce back in the day, and things like that, because most people stored a lot of their vegetables in the basement back then. So let's move on round and I'll show you that. Okay, so this right here is the back side of the house. Now, this two walls, well, the wall behind you, you see with the windows there, if you can see them, that will be the kitchen. And then this structure here would go down into the basement. We also have a door on the right that also led into the kitchen once upon a time, which is now all closed up because that side of the building isn't, well, as you already seen just a second ago, it's not exactly in good condition. So as you can see here, we have the similar 4 brick thick wall. Now that is a consistency throughout the whole house. The whole house has these bricks that are 4 bricks thick, which is unusual because normally you would see 3 bricks, but not 4. So the walls are very strong, and the reason that the building still stands today is likely due to the thickness of the construction. And also they used lime mortar, which is typically way better than today's modern cements. So this particular I guess basement exit, I would call it, or walkout, has a vaulted ceiling inside. So when we go to finish that in there, we'll try to make some sort of feature out of that, and maybe we'll try to do something with the basement in the later videos, where we can maybe make some kind of cozy little spots, maybe a bar, a wine cellar, and some other bits and pieces. But we'll try to keep this exit as a, a feature for the building. Now we might have to remake the door, which I don't imagine is original because it's south facing, and it would have been exposed to the weather, quite harsh weathers as well. So I'd be surprised if it's the original door. Now, right now it's all screwed shut, but you can even see, or you might be able to see, that back in the day they used bags to insulate around the doors because they didn't have insulation, so they used old sacks, and that's what they would use and stuff in behind the wood, and that would stop the winds and the drafts coming in. Now just to the left of that on the ground there, you'll see that one of the timbers has come out from above the top there, and that would have been the lintel. And we did find a local mill, so we're going to see if they can remake us these wood lintels, and then we'll treat them and put them back in, and that way we can try and stay original to the building. So that's the back of it. Now I do have to rebuild the brick on there, which isn't too much of an issue. We do have a little pile that you'll see in just a second, and well, if we don't end up having enough brick to do all of the outside, what we'll do is we'll use a different type of brick on the inner brickwork, and that way we can save those heritage bricks for the outside skin and maintain that authenticity. So let me move along around now, and I'll show you the side where we have some scaffolding set up, ready to start work as soon as the spring allows. Now, while we're here, I just wanted to quickly show you the chimney that sticks out the top of the house there. And if you look really closely, you'll see that some pigeons have made some homes inside the woodwork there. Now, what's interesting about this particular woodwork is it's layers upon layers that were put on top of each other to make something look decorative. Now, as I'm a mason and not a carpenter, I'm not sure how to make the beveled wood that you see that goes up to the edge of the roof there, but I'm sure I can find out how to do that, and then we'll see if we can find somebody that can make us something similar. Now, the whole wall in itself there, now that you're zoomed in, you can see needs repointing. So we'll end up having to grind out all of this wall and repoint it with a lime mortar. And we're going to use an original lime mortar mix with no Portland cement. That way we can ensure the longest lasting finish that's going to be on this building. And we also need to clean the bricks up as well, as they've darkened over the years, but we will be washing the building first, and then once we grind, we'll wash the building again. And that way we'll be able to certainly brighten things up here. But as you can see, the woodwork back in those days was quite intricate.